It feels like every other day we're hearing about some kind of panic in the AI market. But underneath all that noise, something huge is happening. A massive, high stakes battle is brewing between the absolute giants of tech. And believe me, this isn't just about who has the cleverest chatbot. No, this is a full on showdown for the entire future of artificial intelligence. And when I say warning signs, I'm not kidding. Get this. In just 1 week, a staggering $800 billion was wiped from the market value of the top AI-related stocks. I mean, just let that number sink in. That's the kind of money that really sets the scene, right? We're talking serious high stakes and a ton of investor anxiety. And look, it's not just random market jitters. Experts are actually starting to draw parallels to the dot-com bubble. I saw this quote from Florian Ipo, who's with Lombard Odier Investment Managers, and it just hits the nail on the head. He said AI-related capital expenditures are substantial, increasingly debt-financed, and reminiscent of the 2000 tech bubble's frenzy of questionable investments. So yeah, the thinking is that some of this AI gold rush might be built on some pretty shaky ground. So this all leads to the big question, right? The one we're going to dig into today. If the market is so clearly spooked, why on earth are the biggest names in tech not just staying the course, but actually doubling down? It feels like they're accelerating right into a head-on collision. What's going on here? The great AI showdown. Because, well, beneath all that market chaos, a brand new front in the AI war is opening up. We've got two main players who are just completely ignoring the red flags and getting ready for their next major move. And here's where it gets really interesting. It's all about the timing. From what the leaks are suggesting, new releases from Google and OpenAI are set to drop within days of each other. Now, come on, that doesn't feel like a coincidence, does it? It feels a lot more like a planned strategic duel. So, in one corner, we have Team Google getting ready to unleash Gemini 3 Pro. And in the other corner, you've got Team OpenAI with its super mysterious, much-hyped model that's reportedly called GPT-5.1. So yeah, two titans, two brand new flagships, and one big battlefield. Gemini versus GPT-5.1. Tale of the tape. Okay, let's really break this down. We're going to put them head-to-head. Thanks to some recent leaks and a few code discoveries, we can start to piece together how these two new models stack up. And maybe more importantly, we can see how their core philosophies are just fundamentally different. So, OpenAI, they seem to be betting everything on cognitive depth. I mean, the leaked name itself, GPT-5.1 Thinking, kind of gives it away, right? It's all about this idea of multi-step reasoning. So instead of just spitting out an answer instantly, the model is designed to actually, take its time to break down a problem into smaller pieces and really think it through. Kind of like how you or I would tackle a really tough question. Google, on the other hand, they're going for pure brute force scale. People have found traces of Gemini 3 Pro in their developer platform, and it confirms support for a massive 1 million token context window. 1 million. To put that in perspective, that's enough to process entire books or huge complex code bases all in one shot. Their whole strategy is about memory and breadth. Okay, so this really lays out the two different playbooks, doesn't it? You've got Google with Gemini 3 Pro Preview, which is all about that giant context window. We're talking scale and memory. Then you have OpenAI with GPT-5.1 Thinking, which is totally focused on depth and reasoning, using its power to think through tough problems. And the craziest part? Look at those release dates. Both are expected around November 2025. They are absolutely on a direct collision course. So when you boil it all down, it's a classic showdown of philosophies. It's the AI that can basically read an entire library in a single gulp versus the AI that can sit down and really ponder a single difficult problem. It's the ultimate reader versus the ultimate thinker. Which one do you bet on? Beyond the models, the ecosystem battle. But here's the thing. This fight is so much bigger than just the core models themselves. The real war, the one that'll probably decide the winner, is being fought over the entire ecosystem, all the products and tools built around them. Let's take a look at how Google is building out its arsenal, because it's a perfect example of this. First up in Google's counterpunch, Nano Banana 2. Yeah, you remember Nano Banana, right? The viral image generator that was all over social media for a while? Well, the sequel is getting a massive, massive upgrade, and it's built directly on the new Gemini 3 Pro image model, which makes it a really key weapon in Google's creative arsenal. And these upgrades are seriously impressive. We're talking native 2K renders that you can then upscale to 4K. Legible typography on images? Yes, finally we can say goodbye to that weird mangled AI text. It's even getting cultural context awareness, which is super cool. It means a picnic in Tokyo will actually look different from a picnic in Berlin. It's just faster, smarter, and it's clearly being designed as a professional grade tool now. And maybe the coolest new feature is this thing called Edit with Gemini. So think about how this works. You generate an image, right? But instead of having to start all over if you don't like something, you can just highlight a specific area, say a shirt, and then just type what you want to change, like change shirt to red. And boom, the model only modifies that one little part. This is a huge deal for making creative work way more practical and less frustrating. But okay, it's not just about creative tools for us regular folks. Both of these companies know that the next front in this war is all about arming the developers. The strategy is simple. Give the builders the best tools to create the next wave of AI apps on your platform, and you'll lock them into your world. It's all about who can build the biggest army of developers. And Google's weapon of choice here is something called the Agent Development Kit, or ADK for short. It's an open source toolkit, which is great, and its whole philosophy is to stop treating AI like some magical, mysterious black box. Instead, it treats it like real software. By moving the whole process into your code, developers can do proper debugging and versioning. You know, all the stuff that makes building normal software reliable. It's about turning AI development from a wild experiment into disciplined engineering. Okay, so that's for the serious coders. But what about, well, everyone else? That's another huge battleground right now, making AI accessible to people who don't write code for a living. And it looks like Google has a new answer for that too. It's a new platform called Opal AI. And it's a no-code tool, which means you can just describe an idea in simple English, and it builds the entire AI app and its workflow for you. Now, OpenAI has its custom GPTs for sure, but Google's two-pronged attack here with the ADK for the pros and Opal for, the rest of us, that is a really clear strategy to try and dominate the entire application layer. What this means for you. All right, so we've been talking about all this high-level competition, these corporate chess moves, but what does it actually mean for you and me? For the users, the creators, the professionals who are just trying to make sense of it all. What's the so what here? Why does this AI Cold War even matter? Okay, so here are the key takeaways. First off, choosing an AI is going to get a lot more specific. It's going to be like hiring a specialist for a job. You'll pick the thinker for a really tough strategic problem, and you'll go with the reader when you need to digest a mountain of research. Second, AI is finally graduating from being just a fun novelty to a real practical utility. These tools are getting serious. They're becoming professional grade. Third, and this is a big one, the ecosystem is king. The best model on its own is not going to win this war. The platform with the most useful integrated tools, that's who will come out on top. And finally, the barrier to building with AI is just collapsing. With tools for pros and tools for beginners, the power to create is being put into more hands than ever before. Which, of course, leaves us with one last big question to chew on. As these companies race to build AIs that can read more, think deeper, and create better than ever before, what are we actually building? Are we just making better tools to help us out? Or are we, maybe without even realizing it, building more capable rivals?